Usually when we think about survival, we think about what we need to pull from the outside world. Like, picture a space station.
Right, highly complex.
Yeah. And to keep the astronauts alive, it needs this constant stream of external inputs.
Hmm.
I mean, it needs supply shuttles from Earth. It needs solar radiation hitting its panels for power, oxygen tanks refilled.
Absolutely.
And if you cut off those external supply lines, the entire system collapses within days.
It's a system that is entirely dependent on its environment. I mean, despite all the advanced technology, it is intrinsically vulnerable, right? Because its survival is completely outsourced.
Totally. But then you encounter certain esoteric philosophies, some ancient and some strikingly modern, and suddenly the blueprint for survival just completely flips.
Oh, for sure.
We aren't looking at a space station anymore. We are looking at a system that almost defies the laws of psychological physics. It's a blueprint for a human soul that generates everything it needs from the inside out.
It really is the absolute definition of a closed-loop system. And what we are looking at today in this deep dive is a fascinating, highly dense text that maps out exactly how to build that system.
Yes. So for those of you listening who want to gain deep, multi-perspective knowledge without getting bogged down in information overload, you are in the right place.
Definitely.
We're diving into a translated essay titled Self-Harmony, one of the essential qualities of super-celestial beings in the Celestial Islands. It's written by Xuefeng back in December of 2009.
Yeah, a really incredible piece of writing.
And our mission today is to decode this esoteric, spiritually dense text and extract the ultimate philosophical framework it presents. Because underneath the mystical terminology, there's a radical roadmap for achieving absolute, unshakable internal freedom.
And the author, Xuefeng, I mean, he does not ease the reader into this concept at all.
No, not even a little bit.
He sets the stakes incredibly high right from the opening sentence. He states that to enter the Celestial Islands continent of heaven, which he presents as this ultimate plane of existence, one must attain the fruit of super-celestial being. And to achieve that, you must possess a specific life structure. Self-harmony, or zikia in the original text, is one of the essential qualities required for this structure.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit. Let's start by defining zikia, because the text defines self-harmony not just as like having a peaceful afternoon or feeling good about yourself.
Yeah, it's way beyond that.
It defines it as forming a complete and self-sufficient system within oneself. It operates in perfect internal harmony, lacks absolutely nothing, and fulfills all of your needs without relying on any external factors.
Which is wild when you think about it. If we look at how we normally operate as human beings, we are constantly relying on outside elements to maintain our internal baseline.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, we need a paycheck to feel secure. We need our peers to validate our work so we feel worthy. We need a comfortable room temperature, a good meal, a stable social environment, just to feel at peace.
We're constantly reacting.
Right. We are constantly reacting to external variables.
To put a visual to this,
Yeah.
what the text is describing sounds like a perfectly sealed biological terrarium.
Oh, I like that.
You know those massive glass biospheres where they seal an ecosystem inside with a cork? The plants inside create their own oxygen. The moisture condensates on the glass and creates its own rain.
The dead leaves become fertilizer.
Exactly. It never needs a single drop of water or a breath of air from the outside world to thrive. It just exists in a state of perpetual internal balance.
Yeah, and if we map that biological terrarium onto human psychology, the author is talking about the perfection of what the text calls one's intrinsic light.
Intrinsic light.
It's brilliant. If you rely on anything outside yourself, even the most basic human comforts or social bonds, you lack true freedom. You are tethered to the world. Self-harmony is the deliberate severing of all those tethers. Your internal ecosystem generates its own light, its own emotional sustenance, and its own absolute reality.
But claiming that a human being can operate completely independent of external validation or comfort is a massive, ambitious premise.
Oh, it's a huge claim.
Xuefeng doesn't just present this in a vacuum, though. He anchors the concept of zikia in some of the most heavy-hitting Eastern philosophies in human history, using them to validate this state of being.
Yeah, he weaves together citations from multiple profound traditions to argue that this idea of self-harmony isn't just his invention.
Right.
It's the core truth that ancient masters have been pointing toward for millennia.
He starts by quoting the Heart Sutra, which is a foundational text in Mahayana Buddhism.
Yes.
And he highlights a state of being that is not born or destroyed, a place of profound emptiness. The quote explicitly says there is no form, no feeling, no ignorance, no suffering,
Right. It literally states there is no eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, or mind.
which is a lot to wrap your head around.
It is. It essentially means turning off the sensory inputs that dictate reality. In the context of our terrarium, it's recognizing that the data coming through your eyes and ears, the societal expectations, the physical discomforts, they're all illusions that disrupt your internal climate.
And then he builds on that by bringing in the platform sutra, which asserts that one's nature is how so?
Well, it means the baseline of the human soul is already whole. It is inherently unstained and unshaken. You don't need to acquire self-harmony by gathering external knowledge or wealth. You already possess it.
Oh, I see.
The work is simply realizing it by removing the societal conditioning that covers it up.
But then the text pulls from Bodhidharma's bloodstream sermon, and this is where the philosophy demands a radical detachment.
Very radical.
It introduces the concept of the Dharma body. It states there is no Buddha outside the mind, but it also claims the Dharma body is beyond physical sensations like hunger or cold.
And even beyond human affection and kinship.
Yeah. Here's where it gets really interesting, though, because transcending the need for family bonds and human affection feels totally counterintuitive to survival.
It does.
And then he pairs this Buddhist concept of emptiness with ideas that are deeply rooted in Taoism. He talks about the union of yin and yang, male and female, and the supreme ultimate, or taiji.
Right.
Initially, I mean, this looks like a philosophical mashup,
Yeah.
mixing Buddhist detachment with Taoist duality. Is there a cohesive mechanism here, or is the author just, spiritual name-dropping?
That's a great question. It's actually a very deliberate synthesis. The author is using these diverse traditions as different lenses focused on the exact same psychological mechanism.
Okay.
He brings up the concept of tathagata, which translates to thusness, or the ultimate nature of reality, and defines it as a state of no self, no person, no sentient being, no lifespan.
So a complete dissolution of boundaries.
Yes, exactly. In Taoism, the supreme ultimate, the taiji, is the state where yin and yang originate. The ultimate state of self-harmony is where all opposites merge and neutralize.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yin and yang, male and female, good and evil. If you hold them simultaneously, they cancel each other out, leaving only a perfectly still, unified point of existence.
That makes a lot of sense.
He's arguing that all these ancient texts were basically attempting to describe the exact same life structure required for absolute internal freedom.
Okay, so if the underlying theory is the merging of opposites and realizing you are inherently self-sufficient, how does a person actually rewire their brain to achieve this?
That is the million-dollar question.
Right, because the text doesn't just leave us with ancient theory. It lays out a highly specific, highly paradoxical playbook for cultivation.
It really is a playbook designed to systematically dismantle your conventional way of processing the world.
The very first principle he establishes is about the locus of control. The text insists that the mind creates reality. You must create all phenomena with your consciousness.
Which goes right back to the foundation of the terrarium. You're no longer a passive observer reacting to a universe that is happening to you. You are the architect of your perception. If your mind creates the phenomena, then the external world only holds the power over you that you consciously assign to it.
Which leads directly into the next phase of his cultivation method, embracing absolute paradox. The text instructs the reader to realize that life is death, glory is disgrace, emptiness is form.
Yeah.
It also uses the phrasing, know the masculine but keep to the feminine, and know white, keep to black.
This is the application of non-dualism. And non-dualism isn't just some mystical buzzword. It's the profound recognition that two ends of a spectrum are actually part of the exact same line.
But how does viewing glory and disgrace
Yeah.
as the same thing actually function in practice? I mean, if someone gets a massive promotion at work, or conversely gets publicly fired, human psychology registers those as two violently different emotional events.
Of course it does, because we attach our internal worth to the external label.
Right.
But mechanically, both the promotion and the firing are just temporary external events. They're just weather systems passing outside the glass jar.
Oh, I love that image.
By training your mind to see glory and disgrace as identical meaning, neither one has the power to alter your core essence. You level your emotional baseline.
You neutralize it.
Exactly. You neutralize the ego's desperate, exhausting cycle of striving for success and being terrified of failure.
And he takes this detachment even further by instructing the reader to treat everything as a game.
Yes.
The text says only nature or life is true and demands that you own nothing to possess everything, transcending time and space.
Think about the psychological friction of ownership. The moment you claim ownership over a house, a reputation, or even a relationship, you introduce the fear of losing it.
Oh, totally. The anxiety just spikes.
Right. If you truly internalize that you own nothing, the fear of loss evaporates. You possess everything because you have merged with the totality of the experience rather than trying to hoard a tiny sliver of it and protect it from the universe.
But I have to challenge the functionality of this mindset, especially for someone listening to this who is living in the modern world.
Sure.
If you actively train yourself to treat your career, your community, and your relationships as a game, and you strive to own nothing while viewing glory and disgrace as the same, doesn't that just breed apathy?
That's a common critique, yeah.
Or like a complete nihilism? I mean, if it's all an illusion and outcomes don't matter, why participate in society at all?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's a crucial distinction. The text addresses this by defining this state not as nihilism, but as the kingdom of freedom.
Yeah.
Nihilism and apathy are states of depression. They are reactions to feeling defeated by the external world, which leads to emotional numbness. The self-harmony Xuefeng is describing is the exact opposite. It is a state of profound fullness.
So how does profound non-attachment look different from just, not caring?
It's about detaching from the outcome, not from the action itself. You can still participate in the game of life, you can still build business, raise a family, or create art.
Right.
But your internal terrarium is not destroyed if the business fails because you weren't extracting your identity from its success.
You're not relying on it.
Exactly. You aren't operating out of a deficit, craving validation, or paralyzed by fear. You act with immense clarity and energy because the stakes are entirely internal. You are playing the game beautifully because you know it's a game, rather than thinking it's a matter of life and death.
That makes a lot of sense. The final stages of this cultivation playbook, though, push this boundary dissolution to its absolute limit.
They really do.
The author instructs the reader to enter what he calls a chaotic state. You live unbound, with absolutely no boundaries. No right or wrong, no true or false, no good or evil.
Yeah.
You make the real feel like a dream, and you make the illusory deeply reasonable.
In this chaotic state, you are basically transcending human ethical frameworks. I mean, society invents concepts of right, wrong, true, and false as organizing principles for survival.
Sure, to keep order.
Right. But cosmic truth, according to the text, operates independent of human survival. By blurring these lines, you force the mind to stop categorizing and simply experience pure, unfiltered existence.
But if someone actively pursues these paradoxes, how do they measure their progress? We live in a deeply empirical, data-driven culture.
We do.
If you try a new psychological framework, you want measurable results. But the text provides an answer that directly confronts a modern scientific mindset.
It takes an intensely anti-empirical stance. The author explicitly states that the qualities of a supercelestial being cannot be understood by mortals. They cannot be comprehended by logic, they cannot be proven by science, and they cannot be verified by objective facts.
So what does this all mean? Which means you can't, put this in a spreadsheet.
No, definitely not.
It's like trying to explain the color blue to someone who has never had sight, or trying to prove the exact feeling of being completely in love using a mathematical equation. The mechanism of measurement simply exists outside the bounds of the tools we normally use.
I love that analogy. It's perfect. The text argues that using logic to understand self-harmony is just using the wrong instrument. These qualities can only be sensed through spiritual intuition and direct personal experience. And when you do achieve that alignment, the result is an exquisite bliss that language just cannot capture.
And the author actually gives a prescription for how to tune your intuition to feel this.
He does.
He says one must frequently transcend the constraints of the physical body, the material world, and emotions. You do this by listening to the ethereal melodies of the void and seeking ultimate beauty.
It's a highly aesthetic approach to spiritual realization. You bypass the analytical brain entirely. You let the profound beauty of existence imprint upon your heart until your perception shifts, and you realize the material world is the actual illusion.
This culminates in a sweeping, poetic sequence where the author describes his own relationship with the earthly plane, having achieved this internal ecosystem.
Yeah, it's a beautiful passage.
He writes, "I came from the kingdom of heaven and shall return to the kingdom of heaven. Passing through the human world, I leave no trace in my heart. The world has never contained me. I have never belonged to the world."
The world has never contained me. He is walking through the external environment, but he is completely insulated by his self-sustaining internal reality.
He summarizes the entire mechanism of how the mind interacts with reality in one final thought. He writes, "When the eyes open, myriad phenomena arise. When the eyes close, myriad phenomena cease. When phenomena arise, play the game. When phenomena disappear, return to the true self."
It is a remarkable synthesis of everything we've discussed today. You open your eyes, engage with the illusion, play the game without attachment, and when you close them, you retreat back into the unbroken peace of your inherent nature.
As we synthesize all of this for you listening today, we've unpacked a highly esoteric, demanding framework. And realistically, your ultimate goal in life might not be to attain the fruit of supercelestial being and ascend to a higher dimension.
Probably not for most of us, no.
But Xuefeng's concept of self-harmony offers a razor-sharp mental model for navigating modern life.
Because we exist in a landscape that is chaotic, loud, and frankly engineered to make us crave external validation.
Right, algorithms, the economy.
Exactly. The social structures all function by convincing us that we lack something, that we need a new product, a higher status, or external approval just to be whole.
This text provides the ultimate counter-narrative to that. It reminds us that true freedom isn't acquired by conquering the outside world. It's achieved by building an unshakable, self-sufficient internal ecosystem.
Yeah.
It's the realization that you are originally self-sufficient. You don't need to change the weather outside the jar. You just need to realize you are generating your own atmosphere inside of it.
The author fittingly closes his essay by invoking the famous mantra from the Heart Sutra. Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisva.
Wow.
It essentially means gone, gone, gone beyond, gone altogether beyond, oaf awakening, hail. It is a final invitation to step past the illusions that bind us.
Which leaves us with a final provocative thought for you to carry with you today.
No.
The text insists that when the eyes open, myriad phenomena arise. When the eyes close, myriad phenomena cease. It places the ultimate power of reality creation squarely in your own mind.
It means you are the architect of the very things that cause you distress.
So examine your own life right now. Look at the specific pressures causing you stress, fear, or a feeling of inadequacy. If your mind is truly the engine creating that reality, what specific stressful illusion in your life right now could you instantly dismantle simply by choosing to close your eyes to it?